Good morning. I'm gonna throw my camera on so you can see the bush. The bush is glorious. So, and yeah, I'm growing my hair out a little bit, so I'm looking shaggy. Soon I'll be talking about aliens. What's the purpose of this video? Well, I've talked about vampires in previous videos. I've talked about resilience. I've talked about things about just sometimes you have to let people go in your life. I'm going to show a video or show something that this came from a sister that I haven't talked to in like 17 or 18 years. This just came like within the past, I don't know, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I just want to show you the toxic people in your life and why it's okay to let these people go. Right? So a little bit of the backstory. You know, my sister, she's the youngest from my mother's side, and exhibited a lot of the same things as my mother did. You know, with cluster B and looking back on things, uh, probably NPD as well. I didn't know that at the time, but I've had to learn all of that being married to somebody just like that, and you know, fuck Freud, you know, but you know, whatever. Anyways, the last time I talked to my little sister here was on Thanksgiving. Let's see, I got off active duty in 2003, 2002. I think it was 2002. So I got off of that. It was right after September 11th, right? So that created a whole drama. I signed my deck statement in the Army Monday morning, September 10th, 2001, right? And I was actually accused that I knew what was going to happen on Tuesday morning. Or, well, in Germany, it was actually like Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon, but whatever. I was like, well, if you think I knew what happened, then you've got other problems on your hands. But that being said, I had been gone for probably about 2 years, and that Monday morning I came back and I was like, fuck this. Fuck the Army. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get laid occasionally. I'm going to have a fucking beer sometime in this, you know, in my 20s. I went and signed my deck statement. That's declination to reenlist statement. That was Monday morning. Cause I just got back from the field Sunday night from Graf, from like the third back-to-back warfighter. After I'd been in Kosovo and Bosnia and other warfighter or not warfighters but Graf and this and that. I was the only guy that ever went to Germany and got sober. Anyways, got out 2002. I think it was March 30th, 0330, 2002. And that November, whatever Thanksgiving is, I think it's like the third week in November, my sisters showed up. I haven't seen them in like, I don't know, years since I joined active duty, so it's at least 10 years. And my youngest sister here, she made it a living hell and fucking painful for everybody for 2 years or for 2 days. Just, she accused me of, I started college and I went in the Army and everything because I was trying to be better than everybody else. And that was the same thing I had always heard from my mom. You're just trying to be better than everybody else. I'm like, I'm just trying to be better than who I was. You know, I want to make my life better, and you know, and fuck you. You know, and that's a very important thing you have to learn, especially when you live with an abusive family, abusive mother, abusive siblings like this, is the fine art of telling them to go fuck themselves. Anyways, I told my sister to go fuck herself. She left after about 2 days. She didn't even make it to Thanksgiving, you know, whatever. And they were supposed to be there for a week, you know. Anyways, so this is tonight, 12:17 a.m. You see that I'm on Facebook here. I don't know what you see on. Oh, my screen just went black. Not exactly sure what you see here, if that's covering up my screen or not, but hopefully you see this part of it. Let's see if I can, I don't know if that explodes. Alright, This is the old sis. I haven't talked to her since 2003, right? And this just randomly popped up tonight. So, Kenny Merrill, I went to high school with. Raylan, she's my daughter. Doesn't want to talk to me anymore, but that's fine. So, one question, and I want you to pay attention to this. I want you to find the question. One question, more like multiple. Why did you always hate me and not give a fuck what happened to me? What the fuck did I do to you? Nothing. But I know what you did. You've always saw yourself as superior when you're not. You are not. You just fucking think you are. And I'm sure you're you are thinking, why did she reach out to me? I didn't. You're the asshole. You are, by the way, that's 3 times. The asshole who has to do good by me. And this is what I'm saying. Is like she 20 years ago, she told me this is my younger sister, by the way, telling me I need to apologize to her for trying to make my life better, but I need to do better by her. Of course, that's beneath you. I don't care if you answer me, but I know what you did, and it's unforgivable, even though I don't talk to her because she's fucking fake, and so have you been. And here, I don't know what the fuck's being talked about here, so I don't know. I can actually care and understand, but you've never tried. About what? So you will never know who I am because of you are, goddammit, you are superiority and mind, and mindset you've always had. Now I want you to get. When I left for the army, it was 1992, and she was 12 years old, and I really haven't talked to her since then. So this will come into play a little bit, but when I was in the army on active duty and everything, I saw that she was like a mirror of my mother and a caretaker of my mother until my mother died. And my mother was the same way, by the way. This is how my mother talked to me all the time. So that's why I didn't told her to go fuck herself. I digress. Let's read. I can actually care and understand, but you've never tried. So you will never know who I am because of your superiority and mindset you've always had. And she doesn't know what I've always had. I doubt you have learned humility. That's up for debate. And and this is just shaming tactics, right? The vampire trying to get her blood, and especially from somebody she hasn't talked to in almost 20 years. So, and I'm sure you're getting your jollies off because I'm fucking cussing. My only response. I remember when you told me to never talk to you again until I apologized to you for trying to be better today than I was yesterday. I'm guessing you have run out of people in your life to hurt, so you're reaching back in history to see who you can still sting. That's not me. I have learned through a life of hateful people to see who the vampires are and to just put the light on them. We haven't talked in over 20 years, so the person that you hate that resembles me is just your imagination with my face pinned on it. You don't know, and more importantly, don't care about who I really am. You just need to feed like any vampire does. And that was my only response. And then she responded back to this. Wow, you're inaccurate. She finally got that part right. It's not even funny. Get over yourself. I don't need anything from you. I didn't ask anything from her. You're exactly how I thought you would be. No more questions or inquiries need to be asked. You are a horrible human being. Now, this is from somebody that pretty much cut me off, but I said fuck it and I cut her. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna ever talk to her again, anyways. And it's been almost 20 years. You young kids, you gotta understand that even family members will do nothing but try to hurt you. Why they need to hurt you, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But they will. You know, I'm live even. So they're going to try to hurt you, and they're going to want to sting you in some way. And unfortunately, the thing, if you have family members like this, mother, father, sister, brother, whatnot, especially if they reach out of the past and they just want to just try to kick you for no reason because, you know, hey, it's Thursday night and I haven't talked to him in 20 years and I might need my 2 ounces of flesh or 2 pounds of flesh or whatever they need. You don't have to put up with it. And you don't have to feel bad about it either. You have to understand that these people are Culture B people. They're dealing with things from their past and they're taking it out on you. And and sometimes I guess let me dovetail this into grooming a little bit, right? So when they're talking about grooming all these kids or anything, here's what's actually happening is that your parents, your mother, for instance, in my case, my mother tried to groom me for being able to put up this kind of stuff and to kind of feed on it in kind of some kind of reverse way. What's that called? That's called I don't know. I can't remember the term of it, but there's that personality that just seeks approval all the time. You've got the narcissist over here that is always just sucking the blood, and then you have the person that's seeking approval. I can't remember the name of that right now. But I have had 2 drinks tonight, and it's 2 in the morning. I need to go to bed. However, codependent. That's what I was thinking of. And so a narcissist mother will always try to raise a codependent son or codependent daughters. That way they're kind of grooming them for the next narcissist down the line. And that way when your codependent son or daughter finds that next narcissist, then they're going to come back to you and say, I'm having these kind of problems. And you, the narcissist parent, are going to be able to give them more bad advice and ping pong them back and forth. That way now you're feeding 2 vampires, and and you just tell them to fuck off. That's the biggest thing you can always do. We're told that we're not allowed to tell our parents and our siblings to go fuck themselves, and that's not right. You can tell anybody in your life that's trying to harm you to go fuck themselves. That's as far as I'm concerned. And it's something I learned a long time ago. Thankfully, my mother was horrible enough that seeing these kind of people and seeing what real life was after I joined the army, it didn't bother me to, tell her. She reminded me of the cartel members, pinning people to the trees and skinning them alive. Except that she wouldn't do that. She'd just try to do that emotionally, just skin you alive emotionally. But anyways, my sister here, Christina Ray, is the same kind of person here. She's a mirror image of my mother. She was created by my mother. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things about her that it might not be. I mean, it's her fault now. She's in her fucking 40s. She was born in 1980, but when she was younger, my mother used to tell her all the time that she hated. Oh, is it low? My mix is like peaked out, so. And I ate bacon, by the way. How's it going, man? I didn't mean to go live tonight. I was just going to make a video, and I just noticed I was going live, so. How's my audio now? Test. I don't think I have feedback on. Either way, my audio is like peeking out on the little mic aux meter here, on the mixer meter, so just let me know, Bacon. And what I was talking about here, Bacon, I can kind of go back a little bit, is, well, we're stepping back in history a little bit. I'm not worried about doxing myself because I've doxed myself so many times. Let me see if I can move this over. This is my sister. Now, if you've already seen this, let me know. If you haven't, whatever. And that's better. Good. The point of this whole video is it's okay to tell your family to go fuck themselves. You know. My sister here, I haven't talked to her in almost 20 years. She told me she didn't want to talk to me because I got out of the Army and I was going to college, trying to better myself. And she's like, well, you're just trying to be better than everybody else, and yada, yada, yada. And the same thing my mom would always say, you don't need to go to college, you don't need to go to education, blah, blah, blah. You're just trying to be better than everybody else. I'm like, eventually, when I was in the Army, I did 10 years active duty, and I realized I'm not trying to be better than everybody else. I'm just trying to be better than who I am right now, right? So, and my sister, being just a narcissist vampire, you know, she's I guess gonna be she's 42 now. I guess she was born December 31st, 1980. So. And I haven't talked to her since 2002. Since a couple days before Thanksgiving 2002. So it's been at least it's been 20 years since I've talked to her. So we can reiterate on this a little bit. This came up tonight, 12:17 a.m. You see right here, it's 2:02 a.m. I don't know if you can see you can see my screen there. One question, more like multiple. Why did you always hate me? And I give a fuck what happened to me. So that's 2 questions. Not much, man. Just kind of going, going over Ghosts of Christmas Past. What the fuck did I do to you? Well, nothing other than you told me never to talk to you again. And also, I apologized. Nothing, but I know what you did. And this is the whole thing. I know what you did, so that's a great question. You know, I'll pin this video back with her. I'm like, hey, what was it that I did other than leave and go to the Army, you know, and go to college and have a family and then get married to somebody just like this, and then left them too. You've always saw yourself as superior when you were not. And this is like, there's like 10 of these. It should be yours. I'm not a grammar Nazi, but crying out loud, fix your shit. You just fucking think you are being superior, whatever. Okay, that's why I've got a shaggy beard and long hair and muddy dogs. And I'm sure you are thinking, why did she reach out to me? No, not really. She's a vampire, and vampires just go back in the Rolodex. So I know that's why she reached back. I didn't. You're the asshole. I didn't. You. It should be you are. You are, Chris. God damn it, grammar. The asshole who has to do good by me. Okay, great. And of course, that's beneath you. No, I'm not going to apologize for your insecurities. I don't care if you answer me, but I know what you did. And again, she's mentioned this now, and what I did, and I don't know what that is. And it's unforgivable, even though I don't talk to her because she's fucking fake, and so have you been. So I don't know. This is a part of the story that I don't fucking know what the hell she's talking about. So I don't know who she is. I don't know what I did. So I can actually care and understand, but you've never tried. Okay, great. So you will never know who I am because of your superiority and mindset you've always had. Now, I want you to, what I was putting on the video earlier is that I left for the Army when she was 12 years old, and I never came back home. And I visited a couple times, but it was just like more of this bullshit. This is my mom. This is the way my mom would talk to me within like 15 seconds. My mom would talk to me like this, and then she would get like hypersexual. And I'm like, God damn, oh, you know what? I'm going to go fucking find some place to go fucking drink that's like 200 miles away. Nice to see you, Mom. You know, so my sister's anyways, doesn't matter. I doubt you have learned humility. Well, I've learned lots of things. That's up for debate. And I'm sure you're getting your jollies off because I'm fucking cussing. Now, it's kind of funny because she's acting like we just talked, but I haven't talked to her in 19 and a half years. Quite fucking honestly, 19 and a half years. I think it was a couple days before Thanksgiving, 2002, the last time I talked to this person. Okay, this is my response. I remember when you told me to never talk to you again until I apologized to you for trying to be better today than I was yesterday. I'm guessing you have run out of people in your life to hurt, so you're reaching back in history to see who you can still sting. That's not me. I've learned through a life of hateful people to see who the vampires are and to just put a light on them, which I'm kind of doing right now. This is, because I know she's going to pass this on to my sister as well, my other sister. We haven't talked in over 20 years, so the person that you hate that resembles me is just your imagination with my face pinned to it. You don't know, and more importantly, don't care about who I really am. You just need to feed like any vampire does. And this is her response tonight. Wow, you're inaccurate. It's not even funny. Get over yourself. I don't need anything from you. I never said I was giving her anything. You are exactly how I thought you would be. No more questions or inquiries need to be asked. You're a horrible human being. This just happened like 45 minutes ago, half an hour ago, this message here. So that's the funny part. I don't know if I can get a timestamp on this. No. Anyways, that, well, hey, Bacon, you know what? Like, I kind of disowned her. She told me, like, 2002 that she'd never want to talk to me again until I apologized because I'm trying to... My success is making her look bad. And I'm like, I just got out of the Army, and I just started college, and I just had my first, like, grown-up job out of the Army, and I was like, my success? I kind of felt like a failure, to begin with. But I was doing better than her, and I was like, whatever, roger that, And she's like, well, don't ever talk to me until you can apologize to me for making me feel bad. I'm like, I'm not going to apologize to you for making you feel bad because of, And that's what I was talking about earlier in this video is the fine art of telling your family and your friends to go fuck themselves. I think that's a very important thing. Especially for these younger boys that are raised by these single moms that are just taught that they have all these mental disorders, that they need to be more feminine, that they need to go see all these fucking doctors and all these. And these boys are just like, what the fuck's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not. You don't know how to contain yourself because you're a man. You haven't been taught how to be a man. Because a male, all of us men know the single truth of the thing is like we're bundles of hate. We're bundles of activity and action and hate. And what we need to do to be a man is to grow and kind of learn to contain that energy and focus it out like a laser beam. And mothers don't understand that because girls aren't like that. Girls don't operate that way. Girls are more emotional and feelings based, where men's are the feelings that we want to feel is we want to feel what it feels like our knuckles punching into a tree, right? And or getting into a fight, or having an adrenaline boost where our validation is that we survived it, whereas a girl's validation is that somebody else thinks their breasts are perky or whatever, so. Bacon, if you're okay, I'm looking at your message here. I grew up with this on me last time we met, so I didn't tell the black community narrative. I didn't know you were black. I thought you were like Greek, maybe Middle Eastern bacon, So okay, I can definitely see why you might the black community might not like you because I thought you were Greek, to be honest with you. I didn't ask, of course. I'm going to assume because I'm a jackass and I do these things, but who cares? And I'm willing to stand up and say, I fucked up, great. But I don't think I really fucked up too much here. I didn't realize you were black. I just thought you were like Mediterranean more than anything else. So, but the biggest thing here was like with family. Family is one of those things that if you let it, it can really sting you deeply. I look at like people that have drug abuse problems, people that drink too much. Some people, I mean, I probably drink too much too. Yay! But I do it out of happiness and joy and love. Or that's my story. But especially with people with drug abuse problems, and I think a lot of drug abuse problems, and I think a lot of fentanyl problems that we have, that heroin and the different drugs being substituted with fentanyl and killing people. I think that's a striking showing of the lack of caring that people think that their families have, right? And that's something we can fix. We can't fix families, but we can fix families that have good intentions. We can't fix families that just fucking hate other family members and are just greedy fucks, right? And we know those family members, those greedy fucks that just want, and just they want the attention, they want the things, and they want the food, and they want glory, and they want this and that, and yada yada yada. You can't fix those people. I don't care if they're your parents or aunts and uncles or whoever they are, siblings. You can't fix them. Now, people that think that they have family members that they do care, but they just don't know how to care. That probably makes a little more sense to me, and I say this more and more because my gray beard is I tug on it and it gives me insights, and I guess since like the 40s or 50s, whatever that generation was. I mean, like the boomers were born in the 50s, late 40s and the 50s. And they were kind of given a world of prosperity. And that world of prosperity, they kind of fucked over just a little bit, because then they were like, hey, how can we get more out of this world of prosperity? And that's where you get like women's lib. Right, and I'm not against like this women's liberation stuff at all. What I do understand though is that this women's liberation stuff doubled our workforce, right? So now we halved all the salaries, and now women are in the workforce, right? So now we are required to have 2 family members in the workforce, and just to pay the bills, as opposed to just the man going out and the woman taking care of the house, right? So what the women's workforce has meant is like now everybody gets half as much pay as the man used to do. And now it takes two family members to take care of what used to be just one family member's responsibility, the man's responsibility for paying the bills and providing. And then we come up with us Gen Xers. Us Gen Xers were just basically kind of abandoned because all of our parents went to work. You know, we were left alone. We had two parents that were either divorced, even if they were together, it didn't fucking matter. They went off to fucking work, and we were just kind of left to our own devices, and we made our friends. And I wouldn't doubt if a lot of the gangs in this country started because of Gen X, because they're like, fuck it, we got nothing else to do. Let's start up a business. A business running coke and whatever else and whatever. So what are you going to call yourself? We're going to call ourselves the Crips. I like red, right? I don't know if that's the history of the Crips and the Bloods and all that stuff. However, it kind of coincides with our generation, this Gen X generation, of all of us being kind of fucking left alone. You know, we were 8 years old, 7 years old, and we never saw our parents except for Sundays. You know, so we were raised by our family or our friends, and those occasional mothers that our friends had that didn't work. You know, and those fathers out on the weekends teaching us how to do things like weld and work on cars and crap, and we got our asses beat. I never got my ass beat by my own dad. I got my ass beat by all my friends' dads, though, you know, and that's the way we were raised. But we only got our asses beat like on Saturdays or Sundays, so usually Sundays. A woman's right. Want to hear a joke? Yes, Bacon. I want to hear a joke. Oh, wait a second. Answer. Women's rights. Question. Want to hear a joke? And then the answer is women's rights. Hey, I never said I was fast on the uptake. And I do appreciate you being on the stream, Bacon. I'm still new to the stream stuff here, and I'm going to put that over here. There you go. You can move all sorts of things around. Okay. I'm trying out this Streamlabs OBS here, by the way. Now, the basic thing I wanted to start this video, and we're gone over like 33 minutes now, and the basic thing I wanted to say is like family. Sometimes family, I wouldn't even say sometimes. Family can be the most harmful thing to you deeply. Friends and family can kind of cut you, or I'd say friends and work, co-workers and stuff like that, can cut you kind of superficially, and it feels kind of deep, and it can still be kind of deep. But the family really can get that thin blade in between the ribs sometimes if you let them. And the biggest thing I wanted to say is that you can parlay that when you're younger, when you understand that your family just wants to hurt you. You know, and I've seen this more and more lately in the past couple of years, that these like when I was teaching at the university, I say when I was, because I'm not sure if I'm teaching at the university anymore, because they're taking my classes and they're kind of folding them into something else, and they're like, hey, you want to teach these? Only it doesn't make any fucking sense what you're trying to teach. Like, well, I guess we don't need you anymore. I'm like, yeah, roger that, you know. But still, these students come in and they don't have, well, they're not adults by any means. And most of these students that come in when they're like 18, 19 years old, I would almost say they're not even 12 years old, emotionally or mentally prepared. They're still wanting somebody to hold their hand and walk them across the fucking street. And when you keep people emotionally immature like that and mentally immature like that for so long, you have the ability to really harm them a lot longer, because who gets harmed the most? Did you ever hear Cappy do his analysis on mothers in the workforce and how it's a wash at best financially versus being a stay-at-home mom? No, but I mean, I probably have heard Cappy say something like that. But at the same time, I think just looking at it pragmatically, it makes sense. Even like with my narcissist ex-wife, I made sure she didn't leave the fucking house. And I'm like, well, I can go get a job. I'm like, no, because you're gonna earn less. If it's gonna cost me like, $10 an hour to, have some fat girl pay, watch my fucking son and a daycare, but you can only earn $7 an hour working your menial job because you have no fucking skills, then I'm losing $3 an hour and just giving $3 an hour basically to some fucking fat broad that doesn't give a fuck about my son. Will let him fucking shit himself all goddamn day long and hand him back to me at the end of the day after he shit himself 3 times and like, hey, he was great. So I just gave her, fucking $30 to do nothing, But at the same time, I pay that same amount of taxes, if not more, per day for our, our school districts. I've got a video coming out for the school districts as well, watching the grades, flat Fs, flat Fs, flat Fs, and I guarantee at finals time they're going to turn into passing grades. However, that's a little obscure what I'm mentioning here in a mumbling voice, but that'll come up here in the next couple of weeks. No, but the major premise of all what I was talking about is that I want kids, I'm mostly targeting boys, but I want kids to understand that people from your past, your family members will always try to kind of strike out at you and get attention and to hurt you. And you have to think about these as vampires. So I think Bram Stoker's Dracula is a great book that people should read. And it's about a story about a guy that... Oh, okay, let me step back. I want to say originally I think the story of Dracula and vampires is a story of narcissists, of true narcissists. We're not talking about your glamour girls taking pictures and their biggest conversational topic of their day is how good their ass looks, right? I mean that's kind of narcissistic, but it's also just trivial at best, No, the true narcissist is a vampire. And a true narcissist will, consume your emotions and consume your feelings and your energy. And that's the blood that vampires draw from you. That's your energy. They're going to always drive to get all of your attention. And it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative attention. They'll strive mostly for your negative attention. And this can be your parents. This can be your siblings. This can be your significant other. And this is one of those things I think you need to really learn about what a real true narcissist is. I think Dracula, the story of Dracula, was a narcissist. Okay, so let me break this down a little bit. Vampires can't see themselves in the mirror, right? It's been a long story. Vampires can't see themselves in the mirror. Well, narcissists can't really see who they really are. What they see in the mirror is what they think, is what they're projecting that they think that other people see, right? And that projection that they want other people to see and what they think other people will see, And essentially is putting that, what was that? The Jetsons. Remember when they used the Jetsons, old cartoon, living in the Sky Cities and the flutter cars and all this stuff, and the Rosie the robot, and they always had the teleconferences where they put the face on, the cardboard face on a stick, and that's what a narcissist does. But they're just mostly kind of a pile of shit or a meth head. But they put a fucking face on a stick and like, hey, la 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 la, and you're supposed to, you being the vampire's prey, are supposed to pretend that that's real. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, well, that's kind of weird, but I'll pretend I'll never see that again, And, and that's how the narcissist gets away with things. So, that's the part of looking in the mirror. Now, another thing is like a narcissist, like a vampire can't come into your house unless you invite them in. And a narcissist is very much the same way. They cannot come in and infect your life in any kind of way unless you invite them in. You're going to invite them in by them being family members or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatnot. I say girlfriend because, of course, I've not had any boyfriends. I'm still flaming heterosexual. I identify as meat/pop/sickle. That's my pronouns there. And hey Bacon, are you talking about the vampire with a narcissist analogy, or? I've thought about this a lot over the years. So, but where was I at? So you don't invite a narcissist, you don't invite a vampire in, right? And once you invite a vampire in, then they kind of take ownership of your home. Very much the same as a narcissist. You invite them into your life, and then all of a sudden they seem like they're surrounding you and consuming you. And they just want to own your ideas, they want to own your thoughts, they want to own your relationships, they want to own everything about you, and they just kind of consume you. And then this part of it actually starts on your first date with your narcissist, if it's not your fucking mother or your father. But let's walk back to the first date of a narcissist. And I guarantee anybody that's ever going to watch this video sometime in history is going to understand that they've had a date with a narcissist. And that date with a narcissist is like you're just meeting them, coffee date. And the first thing they're asking you is about your family and problems you've had with your family. Deep, hardcore emotional family. And you're like, Jesus, I didn't get my fucking coffee yet. I even told the fucking girl that I want fucking an extra thing of creamer, And this girl's, hey, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets about your family and what it make you feel and this and that. What this narcissist is doing is building an emotional profile, because they're salivating. They want to know what kind of meat they're getting ready to bite into. Are you a pork roast, or are you beef roast, or are you a chicken breast, what kind of meat are you really going to be? And that first date is a big thing. And when we're talking about love bombing, you might see love bombing on the first date too, as a way of distracting you. It's going to distract you, like, oh wow, I made such a great impression, or this or that. And this person's like, oh, all over me and everything. But what are they asking you? They're asking you questions like a counterintelligence agent does as well. It's like these deep, dark secrets of, yeah, vampires can't see it. But a counterintelligence agent will ask all these questions as well, because they're usually targeting somebody. But a vampire is also targeting somebody. They're wanting to target somebody that's an easy meal. The unfortunate thing is, and you can tell nowadays, especially with the U.S. modern politics and all this crap, is that most people don't know what a narcissist is. They don't, because a lot of these politicians, a lot of the shit we see in this cultural war is just narcissist behavior. It's just textbook narcissist behavior. And that tells you why narcissists are rare to come across, because most people don't recognize this. Most people fall for it. I do have like the fucking jerry can special of fucking Stoli. It's like a week supply of Stoli for like $33. Awesome. I'm sure I could drink that in 2 or 3 nights, but I would need somebody to come and check and make sure I'm going to wake up the next morning. But anyways, so you don't invite narcissists and you don't invite vampires into the house because they come and own everything. And like I was saying, we've had those first dates with these girls that just are like overbearing. And by the end of the date, you know, we haven't even finished a cup of coffee and a basket of french fries, and they're already talking about picket fences and what our kids' names are going to be and what the lawn's going to look like and what the people in our neighborhood's going to be like and all the neighbors' names and this itemized fucking bullshit. And, you know, and these girls, and we look at these girls and we're like, yeah, she's got a little wishful thinking, but what she's actually doing, she's creating a story and a narrative to drive you down. Now, I can say this for a fact because I've also did the fucking, 20 years ago, got in a relationship with one of these girls, and then that's why I learned so much about Cluster B and NPD so much, being in this relationship, trying to survive, quite literally survive it, is trying to figure out, first and foremost, is there anything I could do? After a couple of years, I realized, negative. There's nothing I can do. I'm just surviving. So it is like, okay, then let's find the exit strategy that nobody dies in. And when you're dealing with vampires and narcissists, we can quite literally be dealing with life and death situations. And let's curtail to the Johnny Depp and what's her name, Heard. I don't remember. Amber Heard. Amber Heard is a narcissist. She's a vampire. Johnny Depp is emotionally explained what it's like to be with a vampire. And people are mocking him for it, But the funny thing is like the few things I've watched of the trial and everything, I kind of start having flashbacks to my marriage. And you know that you're emotionally traumatized by somebody when somebody else tells their story and you have flashbacks by it. I don't even have fucking flashbacks by fucking combat. I've seen fucking people skinned alive on fucking trees. I've seen guts hung up on fucking curtain rods in a whole goddamn apartment complex in Sarajevo. I have seen the horrors of life and how people can really truly mistreat people. And the thing that bothers me most is being married. So, what is this, an interview? I don't even know how much I like you yet. Yeah, I don't know, Bacon. I mean, with like first dates, it's so hard, but I think once you understand like what a vampire is, what a narcissist is, I think you can sense one really quickly after you've been exposed to one. It's kind of like, if you've never really been exposed to one, you may be fucked for like the first fucking 5 years. You're gonna get fucking your cock swirled around a fucking pole and fucking pulled around all over the place until you realize, like, hey, goddamn it, I need to fucking stop this nonsense. But once you realize what you've been in, and once you realize what what the kind of person is, you can't help but notice it automatically. It's almost like, I don't know. I would almost say it's like you've had an antibiotic to something, and if you ever come into contact with it again, you get an immediate reaction, right? And like tobacco. I think tobacco is a great example of that. Like I stopped, tobacco. I stopped smoking 2005, and then I dipped for a really long time, Copenhagen Skull. But I quit that a long time ago too. But even with a cigar, I'll try to I'll have a cigar a couple times a year. I enjoy just chilling out, have a cigar and a fucking scotch or a whiskey or something. And but even with that cigar, I can feel it. I can feel it in my face. I can feel it in my lungs. I can feel it in my body, my fingertips. That is like, man, it's like, okay, I this is probably toxic to a point, right? And when you're with these people, they're the same way. Once you realize the kind of person they are, you have these automatic kind of responses. Now, I don't have these fingertip responses with cigars. I do enjoy cigars. And, you know, I'm just a bad day away from being a smoker again. I haven't smoked since 2005. But, you know, I miss it sometimes. I miss the smell of it. I just miss smoking. But I'm not going to do it. But we're going back to the vampire problem. And the vampire problem of inviting them back into your house and whatnot. And I think a lot of people don't know that they're inviting the vampire into their house. That's the problem. But it's just not wasting time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, with that bacon, with the relationship goals, I don't think when you're in your 20s, I wouldn't say we probably have like real relationship goals. We have like generic ones. We either want family and a love of our life and kids and these big block items. We're not looking for anything specific. And even when we think we've met those big block requirements, then they get refined down, usually by the woman. She's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to refine it down. And I want, when I say I want a cock, I want to split that down to, I want 100 cocks in this block. And then, and then she's going to leave, But, so she does want new cock. She just wants a lot of it, And it could be the guy too. But for the most part, I think for the most part, guys are usually fucking loyal to a fault. And, so whatever. The guys that are getting locked down in a relationship are probably not fucking going out and finding tons of pussy. But the girls always will if they can. Because there's always that other guy. Always. That's the thing with these other guys. You need to realize there's always the other guy. You ever locked down, you're married, you've been living together, yada yada yada, and then there's always these other guys coming out of the woodworks, and you're like, hey, you go have these other guys. And like, well, I don't. She's like, I don't want to disrupt our relationship. I'm like, no, you already have. You're already telling me you got all these fucking dicks poking into your fucking, your sidewalls here. I tell you what, grab a bag, fill up with fucking clothes and your toothbrush and all this shit. Go explore your fucking cocks and get the fuck out of my house. And I think a lot of young men, probably women too, but a lot of young men are going to be too scared of that because they're like, oh my god, what am I going to do? The one piece of pussy I've ever had, and I'm supposed to kick her out, and like, yeah, because it's just a piece of pussy. You're going to have more. And nowadays, unfortunately, the chances of a guy finding a special woman that's going to be the rest of his life. I mean, okay, let's say back in 1992. 1992, I joined active duty Army. And since 1992, I know Larry and Loretta Ruffett. I know Nate Starnes and his wife. I actually don't know his wife's name, but Nate Starnes. And I know Cordella and his wife. Three guys. Three guys since the early 1990s that I've ever met that are still with their wives. Now, it might sound a lot if I've only known like 4 guys in my life, but I've known a couple thousand guys in my life. When I was in the Army, this was a telltale sign. I was in the 101st Airborne. My first duty station was 1st Cav, and I was a Colt. I was a Colt member, and then I went to the 101st. I was an FO there, and I remember one of the field problems I went on. I was supposed to be Op 4, or no, I was supposed to be an OC for another battalion, and observer controller. I think so. I was in 187 infantry, murder, death, kill, and I think it was 320th. God, I can't remember. We had 50 Deuce and the 320th infantry. So I think it was 320th infantry. I think 50 Deuce was the Op 4 for all this big thing. 320th was the friendly forces, and the 187 infantry was kind of like the oversight of the field problem and OCs and all that shit and all that. Well, the 320, the unit I was supposed to be the OC for, did not have enough people to make up a team, so I just got kept back in the rear. So I got put on back on rear detachment with all these guys with broken legs painting fucking arms rooms and hallways and shit, right? So I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do. You know, maybe I fucked up. Nobody ever told me I fucked up, whatnot. It just made no sense that, I was like kind of singled out saying, hey, you're going to stay back in the rear and monitor all the fucking rear detachment guys. And I'm like, oh, roger that, whatever. More or less, I didn't go to work for like fucking 3 weeks. When I went to the bar every night, though, did I go to the bar every night? Absolutely. When I went to the bar every night, lots of soldiers' wives there, and that was never a new thing, right? Never a new thing. But when you start paying attention to it, because you're not with your friends, because your friends are out in the field, and other soldiers from the other units aren't there because they're out in the field as well. It was one of the only times in my life that all the bars and all the clubs were just like packed with soldiers' wives, and each and every one of them was out there to fuck. Now, the problem is like the whole goddamn division was out in the field, so there's not a lot of fucking people to fuck. Some fucking hippie kids from the fucking university, Austin P University, and a couple of us stuck back in the rear, fucking like, well, yeah, sure. And I did go home with, she was a CW4's wife. Once I learned, I thought she was the CW4, to be honest with you. And that's why she's like, because she let it on that she was the fucking officer, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Went on base housing, all this and shit like that, in the fucking officers' quarters, and went in there, and it was her husband. It was probably fucking 20 pictures in the foyer of her husband, CW4, 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 that's Chief Warrant Officer 4. and her and like 3 of the kids, and I'm like, yeah, you know, my rank can't tolerate this much punishment. I was an E5 at the time. I'm like, get rid of that, you know. So I walked home. She's out in the front yard like 2 in the morning yelling at me. Hey, blah 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 blah. I'm not involved in this. I thank you for the ride and fuck off. I think ultimately what I'm this whole video of it's just gone over an hour is the fine art of telling people how to fuck off, right? I mean, you have your true friend, even your friends. Sometimes even your friends, sometimes you have to tell them to fuck off, but you're not telling them to fuck off like in a grandiose way. You're telling them like, no, dude, I don't, you know, I know you're trying to push your ideas, but you'll notice your friends trying to push ideas, especially in relationships, because they have these high and mighty ideas of like these girls are just, you know, we have to protect a pussy at all costs. You're like, yeah, fuck off. You know, no. You know, it's just, you know, it's just a roast beef fucking sandwich with fucking cheese. We don't need to protect it. We can get that fucking 4 of those for like $6 at Arby's every night of the week. You know. So you have to teach your friends that too. You know, and tell them to fuck off. And yeah, I didn't have too much of an agenda other than my sister here. I'm gonna bring that back because this was goddamn entertaining. Do you see this? Let me move my picture here. I'm gonna move this over here. That's the chat. We're gonna move that down here. There we go. I haven't even looked at her profile on Facebook. I don't know if I even can. Open Messenger. Finally, she's probably already fucking blocked me. You know, we haven't talked in like 20 years, and she's probably already blocked me on Facebook because she just wanted to lash out and attack, and hopefully I was going to be that emotional simp that she wanted some validation from. And you young men, that's the biggest thing you can't do is just be an emotional simp ever to these girls. Being honest, so I'm not wasting time. It's well, yeah, Bacon. Is it my sister that I disowned? Actually, she's the one that disowned me 20 years ago. So she's my younger sister. She's younger than me about 5 years, and she told me like right before Thanksgiving in 2002 that I should never talk to her again until I'm willing to apologize. And it's like, apologize for what? And it's like, because I just got off active duty in the Army. And I just started college, and I started the fire department. So, and her whole thing was like, I'm trying to be better than her. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be better than you. I'm trying to be better than who I was yesterday. But she didn't give a fuck. She was raised by my mother to be an abusive fucking cunt. And so she is being an abusive fucking cunt. And so my sister back then, almost 20 years ago now, 19 and a half years, said I should never contact her again until I'm ready to apologize to her. So I'm not going to apologize to her because I went to college and I've started businesses and I've tried to do everything I can to be successful and whatnot, you know. I don't particularly think I'm terribly successful because I'm not, you know, but you know, whatever. Even if I was, I wouldn't apologize to her for it. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for me working my ass off and you doing jack shit and somehow that made you feel bad. I don't give a fuck how it makes you feel. You know? And I guess that's as I've gotten older, I've gotten more comfortable in saying that. When I was younger, I would think those kind of things, but I would think that would be the wrong thing to say. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think and how you feel. And this relationship between you and me isn't about your goddamn feelings. But as I've gotten older, and I think it probably goes for anybody that gets older, is that we don't have to please other fucking people. We don't have to. We don't have to be their pets that jump on their lap so they can pet us or ignore us. We don't have to. We don't have to be anything for them, and we should not expect them to be anything for us. So yeah, Bacon, is this the sister I disowned? I didn't. She's the one that disowned me, and I just reciprocated. That's all I did. I'm supposed to apologize to her because I was trying to be better in my life, and that was 20 years ago. And I still haven't apologized to her because, and granted, I want you to realize she's 5 years younger than I am. She's my little fucking sister. But somehow I owe her. No, no, I don't owe her a goddamn thing. And when I publish this video tonight, I'm going to give this link to her. And she's going to know that I don't owe her a goddamn thing. Now, I'm not saying she owes me anything either. But I don't need vampires in my life. And I'm not going to invite vampires. As a matter of fact, I can spot vampires miles away nowadays. Because I've made enough bad decisions in my life. And, you know, married a vampire and dated a couple vampires. I'm like, okay, this is the shit you should stick away from. And I've learned that. And now, I just date your typical trash girl. I don't say trash like neck tattoos and all that shit. I just talk about the girls that think that the only thing that matters in life is their feelings. Their feelings. And it's almost impossible to weed those girls out because you can't weed them out until like the first 2 or 3 months, and all of a sudden it's like, you're not giving me enough my feelings, and for breakfast I had my feelings, and I just want to couple my feelings with 2 scoops of my feelings, and you're like, god damn it, you know, get the fuck away from me. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fucking play with my goddamn chickens and my dogs. Fuck off. You know, like, well, you just don't care about me. I'm like, well, no. I just don't 100% care. I don't give 100% of all my energy to your motherfucking feelings that, you know, might as well be a goddamn little puff things from like a dogwood tree on the air. You know, you don't know where the fuck they're gonna land, and they don't either. They just put them out there and like, that's my feelings. You have to care for all of them. I'm like, oh, fuck off, you dumbass broad. What the fuck's your problem? So, anyways, no, yeah, I did I disown my sister there, Bacon? Kind of. But she disowned me by telling me that I owe her something, and I just never gave her what she thought I owed her. And then all of a sudden, 18 years later, she's paying me back. And it curtailed in me responding once and her telling me how horrible of a person I am. When we haven't talked. We have not talked person to person since probably fucking 1990. So, in reality, everything about me is just her fucking imagination. So for her to attack me is her to attack herself. She's attacking her imagination. She pinned it. I guarantee she doesn't even know what the fuck I look like. I look like a shaggy motherfucker. Because I'm growing my fucking hair out like fucking AR guy. Because I haven't grown my hair out for like fucking 30 years. I'm like, I don't know. How far can I take this? And I've been practicing fucking, single edge, straight razor shaving, which I've been getting pretty okay. I haven't cut myself. That's kind of cool. And whatnot. But I got nothing else to do, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna try a straight razor. She doesn't know that shit. She doesn't know that what I do on a daily basis. She doesn't know the businesses I've started and they've eventually gone under because I start them in the worst times of the economy, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's a vampire. She just needs her blood, and I'm not going to give it to her. So, anyways, I want to say thanks, Bacon, for joining tonight. I certainly didn't mean this for this to be a live event. I do appreciate you coming on, though. I mean, I remember when you were first starting out and I was first starting out, and you were telling me that you could help me out getting this started and whatnot. And I'm not gonna ask. I'm actually not trying to grow my channel. I'd love to grow my channel. That'd be great. But at the same time, it's like not one of those priorities in my life. It's not one of those priorities of me trying to grow my channel, because I honestly don't put enough energy into it. And just like everything else in your life, when you don't put energy into it, you can't expect it to grow. That's for small businesses or small projects or anything like that, period. And this is probably the first time I've been on my channel in a couple weeks at least. So, and on my other channel, my named channel, the Andover tornado, I got to watch that start. I probably got more views from the video I put out from watching that tornado start all the way to where I couldn't see it anymore. You can see it on the camera, but I couldn't see it visually. And that was like 10,000 views, in a matter of a couple days. And people were like, hey, your camera sucked and this and that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I wasn't out there trying to make a quality production. I was out there kind of filming for myself. On the Dad Teaches channel, I've got a couple of videos I got queued up. Let's see, Bacon said, I've said this before, people don't reject you, they inform you they're not worth your time. Applies to family just as much as everybody else. Well, I mean, that's kind of what my sister says. I'm not worth her time. I'm not going to apologize to her because I've worked my ass off. I'm not going to apologize to anybody because I've worked my ass off. I like a little bit, a modicum of respect that I've, worked my ass off, and, I have a bed to sleep in every night. That's, and I'm not asking for a shit ton of respect. You don't have to worship me. You don't have to bow at my feet. But when you eat my food, at least say thanks for, me cooking for you. So, and even my best friends, even if they don't say thanks that I don't cook, when I cook for them, I can imagine that it's implied in many ways because they reciprocate. But family doesn't do that. A good family does. A good family does. A good family is appreciative of other people in their families. A good family and friends appreciate that these other people in their lives. And a good family also appreciates that people might have different opinions of them. That's why even my family, even my fucking family, I'm a motherfucking O'Brien. O'Brien. You know, and this culture war shit has separated the O'Brien family like no other. You know, especially this fucking abortion bullshit and whatnot. And I'm like, this family stood for a fucking 1,000 fucking years. And then all of a sudden, in a matter of the past 2 years, this culture war bullshit is like fucking, well, I don't believe in abortion because I believe abortion makes women weaker because they no longer have to ever have a responsibility. And then half of the O'Brien family now says, oh, no, I don't fucking agree with that. We're never talking to you again. I'm like, you find out that your family's never been fucking resilient to begin with. It's been 1,000 motherfucking years, and we kicked the goddamn Vikings off of fucking Ireland. But somehow, me having a different opinion is too much. I mean, we came from Brian Boru. But because you want to make sure that your daughters can fucking slaughter fucking infants, and that's just too goddamn. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck that you don't agree that I think abortion makes women weaker, and then by default makes men weaker because weak women make weak men. Women that are unwilling to accept responsibility, weak women that are unwilling to accept responsibility, therefore create men that have no responsibility to take. But my family, we're fucking O'Briens. My family's O'Brien. We have been around for thousands of fucking years. We're fucking from Brian Boru. We're the sons and daughters of kings. And your total fucking lack of responsibility and your fucking demand that you do not have, you should never be responsible for anything in your fucking life. Now I'm talking to you, fucking Marianne. You've had your fucking kid. You've had your fucking kid. But you're still supporting even your fucking daughter killing your grandkids. The fuck is your problem? The O'Brien family comes from a great, proud heritage. And even the O'Brien family is being separated by silly, trivial things. Religion's gone out the window. Morals have gone out the window. Humility's gone out the window. So fuck them. Let them all burn. Anyways, if anybody can dox me, it's me. So you know my name, you know my sister's name. Previous videos, you have my call sign. So that means you have my address. I don't give a fuck. Why do I not give a fuck? I've got 100 meters in my front yard. I've got an AR, AK, 39 mils, a couple of fucking other rifles. You're gonna have a slog just to get to my front door. Even if you have grenades. I've got fallback positions. I'll fall back. and you're going to have a fight to my front door. It'd be fun. It'd be fun, exciting. And realistically, it'll never happen. And that's my ultimate goal. It'll never happen. But I'm also an angry mech. I'm an angry mech surrounded by feminist fucking family members. Vampires. That come out of the woodworks to tell you that you're a worthless piece of shit. And you know what? There are some days, like today, that I would be okay with putting my knee between the shoulder blades of my sister in my soggy backyard with a couple standing inches of water. And hearing the gurgling burbles of bubbles in the mud come up from that. But the ultimate goal don't if they're gonna look me up on public records there, Bacon, they already know what I've got. And all you guys say is they should, between 3 and 4 in the morning when I'm sleeping, that's when they should come. It's 3 in the morning already. I should probably get to bed, but I'm gonna be up in a couple hours anyways. So ultimately, I don't think it matters what somebody's got. It's the willingness. You know, I think you could have a belt-fed machine gun, or you could have a bamboo stick that you're willing to beat motherfuckers down with, and it doesn't matter as long as somebody knows that you're willing to use it and bring them pain. Now, if they think that because they have a gun and you have a bamboo stick that somehow they win by default, well, you can prove them wrong. Just don't run directly into their fucking bullets, and make sure that when you swing at them, you smack them right in the fucking teeth. You know, but that's ultimately what the problem is like, they think because they have something, it's better than something else. And ironically, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up because I don't give a fuck. The whole Russian-Ukrainian thing. I'm kind of disappointed in Russia, to be honest with you. They've thrown a lot of materials at this. And, you know, I was raised on the whole Cold War thing and how big the Russian army was and how hard it would be. And their weapon systems just aren't there. Really. I mean, and watching Ukraine just kind of put a beat down on them, even though, like, yeah, Russia probably has the numbers of hardware and soldiers. And ultimately, they'll probably win this whole thing just through attrition. But their equipment is just. We were always taught to believe when I was in the army that, you know, it was kind of par with with what we had, and it's not. It's not. So it's kind of sad. It's kind of depressing. I lived my whole life, well, not my whole life, but a significant part of my life kind of being a Cold War soldier, you know, and I always didn't want to get into a fight with Russia, period. But I thought if we did, I thought it would be a grinder. I really did. I thought we'd be just grinding each other down. I don't believe that nowadays. I believe that the U.S., if we get into a war of attrition with Russia, the U.S., we would just walk over Russia, based on what we see what's happening in Ukraine, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. It's it's kind of sad because if Russia was supposed to be such a great adversary, what we should deserve a great adversary, and we don't have that. We don't have that great adversary. You know, I don't want to. I don't want to go to war with Russia, by the way. Yet, yeah, Lublю, Russia. You know, I love the Russians. So, and from Bacon, combat martial artist, trained in unarmed against firearms and other weapons. I completely agree. Not that I want to find myself in the position, but even 20 feet is too close. Yeah. Yeah, people. That's the biggest thing, Bacon, is that they think that if they have the big stick in their hand, that somehow that they've already won. And what most people, or even up to countries, have to realize is that if they don't know how to control that stick, and I can close in on you and grab that stick is now mine. And now I get to beat you with your stick. And it's kind of embarrassing and it's kind of humiliating. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that you only humiliate somebody when you really need to make a fucking point. Like an ex-wife or ex-husband that, you know, that has really been kind of not just because they've been annoying you, no, because they're trying to destroy your kids and trying to castrate your kids, and and that's when you bring out the I'm gonna beat you senseless with your own stick, right? And you need to learn to do that. You need to learn to cut out emotions and learn to take their weapons from them and use their weapons against them. Not for every little emotional battle. Oh, he said that he didn't like my shirt or he didn't like my car. Blah blah. And the superficial bullshit. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? When they're trying to, cut the genitals out of your kids at 7 years old, though, great fucking time to fight. And that's when you get into your full spectrum combat of information warfare and kinetic warfare, aerial warfare. It's just you do everything you can to win. But if somebody just says, "Oh, I don't like your shirt," get over yourself. Grow the fuck up. I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were a martial artist, Bacon. So I have 2.3 ounces more of respect for you. I've only had respect for you, though. At least I enjoy watching your ideas. And it's 3 in the morning. I should call this shit quits because I still gotta fucking do shit in the morning. And I need to figure out next time I do something like this, because I did something like this. I got Streamlabs, and this one's this one's Streamlabs, and then I got the other one's like a web-based OBS. I'd like you to come on, Bacon, because here's a goddamn firecracker, 2.3 ounces. Well, I'm good at estimating. No, I would, well, I tell you what, you have a stream tomorrow. I'll join your stream tomorrow night. But I'm not here to make friends and family and all that shit. But I honestly thought this was gonna be like an hour and 10-minute video, and or not an hour and 10-minute video. I thought it was gonna be like about a 10-minute video. You know, just basically because I know that my sister is going to try to tell my other sister how much of a cock I was. I'm like, yeah, maybe I was a cock, but I told her to go fuck herself, and here's the whole text, her whole thing of telling me to go fuck myself. I'm like, I'm not putting up with it, and you know, you make your own decisions. I don't give a fuck. You know, because I've learned my lessons even on that. My old girlfriend, for instance, you know, same stuff. Somebody tell me it's fucking long. Oh, like my old buddy of mine in Atlanta. He decided to go woke a few years back. Everything he's got, whitest fucking white boy ever, and all of a sudden he's gotta fucking care about every fucking thing about the black community. I'm like, what the fuck do you know about the black community? At least in St. Louis, I grew up in Wellston. I was like the white boy in Wellston, you know, and you know, I learned to fight because I was the white boy in Wellston. Okay, so if you look at St. Louis, look at Wellston, look at U City, you know, University City, U City, whatever. They're on the fucking like the west side of downtown, you know, and you know, and then you look at fucking Berkeley and all this shit, and you're like, there's not motherfucking white folk there, but that's where I grew up, so fuck off. And him, you know, he grew up in this goddamn fucking religious fucking sect, you know, family. Half his family, or half the time, he grew up in Guam. You know, great for him, but all of a sudden he's telling me how I hate black people because I'm not supporting black people. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to support him about? You know, what the fuck do you want? You know, the guy that fucking, when I walked to the post office, he asked me for a cigarette. Am I supposed to support him because he's black? You know, I don't fucking smoke, motherfucker. Get the fuck away from me. You know? He's like, well, you just don't care about black people. I'm like, I care about people one way or the other. I care about people until I realize that I shouldn't care about them, and then I'm going to fucking put fucking holes in their foreheads. And that's so unlikely and so unrealistic nowadays, because I'm not in a combat zone, that I don't have to fucking worry about that shit. Anyways, fucking white boy from Guam, fucking from a religious family, fucking abandons me because all of a sudden he wants to get fucking woke, and fucking all the black people in the world fucking are raised on pedestals, but so are women. Every fucking woman I don't give a fuck. If she has had fucking 600 feet of cock put through her, not even kidding. 600 feet of fucking cock put through her, and he will fucking defend that woman from a goddamn barrage of machine gun fire. I'm like, well, she's just going out there fucking absorbing cock, dude, you know? She'll survive the war because she's gonna fuck everybody out there, and soldiers don't shoot people that they're fucking normally, I guess. But even in peacetime, when you're engaged to a girl and you find out that she's standing on the little fucking diving board that's like 450 feet off the fucking ground, and that 450 feet is based on how many cocks have been into her, and those are cold cocks, not hard and warm cocks, but we're talking about shrinkage, right? So you get your regular fucking cock hard on, you know, regular, I don't know, about that big, right? But then it's cold weather and you get rained on, and you get fucking weather on your fucking nuts, and it drinks down like that, you know. So now your nuts is like this. It looks like a goddamn fucking tuna can made out of fucking, you know, tuna, right? It's like flattened fucking meat and all that shit, and you're trying to figure out how to hold it to take a piss because it's fucking just like this goddamn pan of meat, and it's like fucking just, you know, what, you know, release me, Seymour, you know, and it's like, you know, so you just kind of piss in the general direction of the fucking tree and everything because it's fucking cold and wet. And you've had fucking cold drizzle on your nuts, you know, so your fucking cock is all fucking, like, compressed. Now, if you take all these compressed fucking cold ass cocks and you stack them on top of each other, and it takes her still like 4 seconds of free fall time. Now, terminal velocity is 120 miles an hour, so 120 miles an hour, and that's when your whole spread out. Now, if you're going head down, terminal velocity is about 180 miles an hour, right? So you're going head down and everything. If you've ever been a skydiver, you'd understand these things. So 120 miles an hour. Let's see, for every mile an hour, let's see, 88 feet per second. 88 feet per second is 60 miles an hour, right? So we're talking about 160, 172 feet per second and just a regular free fall, right? We're talking about a lot of cocks. We're talking about a lot of cold, frozen cocks standing stacked up on top of each other. Well, what is what I'm talking about? You get to a terminal velocity of this. We're talking about like 1,000 cocks. And unfortunately, we're dealing with women that have had 1,000 cocks in them. We're dealing with women that are proud that by the time they hit their 18th birthday, they've had well over 100 cocks in them. And then we're supposed to agree to pair up with these women. No. What you do see is like 20 years later, even these fucking women you don't pair up with, they're still family members. They will reach out to you to just slice you and cut you up 20 years later. Now imagine if you had put your cock in that. She's going to try to slice you up and cut you up more. And if you had kids with that woman, she's going to be slicing those kids up and telling those kids that it's your fault that she has to cut them up. No. Now, this whole thing, I'm going on an hour and 40 minutes on this live video here. And thank you, Bacon, for showing up. I'm going to go ahead and call it quits because basically I just did this to call out my sister. Is it petty? Yeah, конечно, it's petty. It's but at the same time, it's like when we're fighting the culture war, the only thing we can do is use their tools against us, or use their tools they use against us, against them. And I know my sister's gonna she's gonna spin up a story about all the things I said to her when all I said is like, I'm not putting up with your bullshit. I put that here on screen, basically saying, you know, I know who you are, and I'm not putting up with you, and that's what this video is about, is to be the light the light for the vampires. It'll be the first few minutes anyway, so I'm not too worried about anybody reaching 140 minutes into this video. Bacon, I do appreciate you being here tonight. I will, if you have a stream tomorrow night, I will be here. And I'm going to go ahead and end this tonight because I've reached the end of the topic. I can ramble on for hours, and I don't think it's needed. We'll find a new topic